Let me now take you across to my colleague and DD India's Akshay Dongre for more on this. Akshay, clearly this conflict is having some unintended consequences which have spread beyond West Asia into South Asia now.
Well, absolutely, and that also gives you an understanding of how fragile still remains the political system in Pakistan, it being one of the first countries reporting these kind of incidents again. Because for many of the Shia community people living in Pakistan, they used to look up to the Iranian leadership, especially given the fact that the Pakistani government has been inflicting a lot of atrocities on the Shia community. They are in minority and have faced multiple terror attacks, police action as well on several cases. And with this report coming in of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's death, there is widespread protest also that are taking place in various cities of Pakistan. It is being reported. It is in fact a collateral damage that is taking place, that is rather following out in other parts of the region as well. The situation seems to be escalating at this point in time, not just in the Middle East or the West Asian region, but in Muslim majority countries as well, especially where there is significant Shia population. We'll have to monitor on how what the circumstances were of these deaths, but the situation is critical and is being monitored right now by the forces.
And within the last few minutes, Akshay, a new wave of attacks seem to have been directed by Israel, and they've said that we're hitting the heart of Tehran. They're also mobilizing reservists. So this conflict only escalating at the moment.
Well, absolutely. And we are just talking about, missile exchanges right now, drone exchanges and air defense, at times intercepting and many times failing to intercept these missiles, especially when it comes to the Iranian missiles that are being launched to other countries like Kuwait, like Bahrain, Qatar, and UAE as well. These countries always being considered proxies of the US and many times Israeli forces as well by Iran. They have been singled out many times in many speeches given by the Iranian leadership. And now that this conflict is escalating, and especially for the IRGC in Iran, it is a fight for survival. They are hitting out at each and every possible target of the US or Israel in the region, including in those Gulf countries as well.
Right. And Akshay, the fact that this is having consequences in the wider region is something that was anticipated, in the sense that if Iran is attacked, it will try to hit at American assets which are positioned in this region, both onshore and offshore, and which seems to be happening. But no one expected that in the UAE, even Dubai, a city like Dubai, a financial center where there are a lot of expatriates, a lot of diaspora from different countries, including India, would also come in, for the kind of firing that it has.
Well, absolutely, and this can escalate pretty much pretty quickly if there is a retaliation from these countries on the Iranian soil. So as of now, Iran has said, and IRGC especially have said that they are targeting only the US assets in these countries. Many times, yes, obviously there is collateral in other civilian areas as well. However, if there is a retaliation, then it can be considered an act of war by Iran as well. There is quite a lot of infrastructure in these countries, high-tech cities, economic hubs, and they might as well be on the target of IRGC if they are pushed to a corner by the US forces, because in that situation, either they can surrender or they can just lash out with everything that they have got, which is going to be quite devastating for the entire region.
Right, and actually, come Monday, this disruption is expected to spread to global markets as well. Oil, stocks, as well as precious metals, all will move in different directions, though. Oil is supposed to go up, gold up, markets down.
Well, yes, at least in the short term, till the time there is conflict. There are hopes in the market that if there is a regime change in Iran and somehow US is able to set up a pro-US, pro-Israel, even for, even if the optics do not say that, but if there is a pro-US, pro-Israel, a more, moderate leader in the top leadership, then there can be, long-term peace in the region. But that is just wishful thinking as of now. and market definitely are going to go, in all sort of directions tomorrow, especially given the fact that a wider escalation and a spillover of this war can have ramification not just for the local economy, but the regional economy, but the global economy, given the fact that many major countries like India, like China, like other several nations are dependent on this region for their energy supplies. And if there is if there is a wider escalation, and if it escalates beyond a further level, there is going to be no going back as far as the damage is concerned.
This blockade or the shutdown of Strait of Hormuz, which is responsible for almost over 30% of global energy supplies being sent out to different parts of the world. India also depends hugely on it. How effectively can the IRGC block it, and what kind of focus do you think the US and its allies will have on keeping these lines of supply of energy and other vital supplies really open?
Well, it's going to be a difficult task, Gautam, and we can see this from the recent examples of the Houthis, the Yemenis, targeting all of those ships that have been sailing, and there were warnings given that any ships in the Red Sea or in the Strait of Hormuz will be a legitimate target. All the tankers will start moving and taking a much longer turn, crossing the entire Africa. That is going to have another ramification for the global economy. To completely stop a country firing from land, targeting tankers, these kind of ships in the region is going to be an extremely daunting task for the US. And it was just the Yemenis earlier. Now it will also be the IRGC, probably Hezbollah. If all of these come together to target the shipping routes, then it's going to go on for quite a long time as far as ensuring that this region is safe, because you can just fire from manpads from the land and then hide again. So it's going to be a very difficult task to identify and locate each and every person that is targeting these shipping lanes. And till that time, no company is going to be secure enough to take this route.
Right. So the situation looks pretty grim, and for now there's nothing inside that might put a stop to these hostilities. For the moment, Akshay Dongre, thanks for joining us.